So we're recording. It is July 10th, 2017. Team Be the Change team call. First one ever. So basically, it's just a normal call. So like, what successes are you having? Like, I know, everybody struggles, but I want to hear about like what's going well for you.
What's going well for me? I'm getting really good responses to my posts. I'm not really getting anything. I've gotten some no's, like when I've had conversations, but I've not gotten anything where people were like, absolutely, I have no desire to ever talk to you about this ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's been extremely negative.
Okay.
And so as I'm hearing the no's, I feel like it's practice because I'm trying to, like in my head, I'm trying to turn that no into why.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you saying no? Because if you're saying no just because you don't know, like you have no idea what's going on, then I can educate you and maybe we can turn it into a yes.
Right. Good.
Okay. So, I feel confident in the conversations I'm having. I feel like just taking the weekend off, I feel like it was a huge break.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, it's hard. I definitely noticed that because I didn't do a lot on Sunday. And even now I'm like, man, like, let's get back at it. So, yeah, it's definitely.
She's trying to get you kisses.
Okay, how's your book? How's your personal development book?
I'm totally loving it. Like, I'm not sure. It says it's like a year, but I don't know if they're like, I'm supposed to literally take the entire year to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Like, you'll read a chapter and then it has an assignment, like to make a list of things that cause me stress. I didn't have to try and come up with a solution. I just had to like write it down and let it be there.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, finances is one of them. Everybody has financial stress.
Yeah.
It was like, what is the reaction to your body when you have that stress? Like, how do you react to that stressor? And then it was just like, just hold on to that list and just let it be there. Just the more you see it, the less power it holds basically over you.
Awesome.
So I was like, holy cow, like I just never thought of that.
Yeah.
And so I like because it's just like a day or two of reading, or even like a page or two of reading, and then it has an assignment of some sort of writing. So I'm really getting into it. I'm really, really enjoying it.
Great.
Hey.
And so what's the name again, and who's the author? Just because somebody I'm sure is going to watch this and be like, what is that?
Yeah, I thought about posting something. It's called The Way of the Happy Woman, Living the Best Year of Your Life.
Okay. Awesome. Who's the author?
Sarah Avant Stover.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's I'm always looking for new ones. Yeah, if you do post it, yeah, I'm trying to kind of compile a better personal development resource list for our team. I've been listening to a bunch of podcasts, and so I'm going to start adding podcasts on there too. So, and again, if you have anything and you want to add it, I might just make everybody in the team able to edit it, because I've shared it a couple different places, so I don't want like the whole world to have access to editing it. But maybe I'll just have access for team members.
I was suggested by a woman while I was in Virginia Beach. We got to talking about different stuff, and she said one of the things she listens to is TED Talks.
Yeah. Okay.
And no idea what that is, but I have it on my list to check it out. But she said it's like a huge plethora of personal information.
I mean, it's everything. I used to listen to TED Talks about like ecology. So basically, it's just like whoever, I don't know. It's everything. It's it's culture. It's science. It's personal development. It's everything. So that's a good resource too. And of course, anything on YouTube, anything ever. I've been looking up John Maxwell, and looking up just at different talks that he does, and really getting a lot out of them. He's more spiritual, but he's great. He does a ton on leadership. He has like this school of leadership, I think. I don't know if you're familiar with Josh Coates, but Josh Coates went through his leadership training, and he's a John Maxwell, I forget what they call them, like leader, scholar or something. I'm not sure. But basically, like, it's the whole community of, coaches for coaching people on leadership. But he's amazing. He's phenomenal. So good. Yeah. Do you have any specific questions? Anything that's going on that you have questions about before I dive in? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I had it muted because they're screaming over a worm. I normally have 1,000 questions, but I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Well, of course, you can always, when I post this, if you want to ask questions in the comments, or if you want to just message me, that's fine too. Or if you think of something as we're going. So basically what I wanted to do was just, I'm going to share my screen, and I know you and I had talked about how I go through, finding people and making friends with people and connecting and inviting, and like how soon I go about, sending an invite, after I've, just kind of messaged somebody for the first time. And so I'm sure that that's something that would be valuable to everybody. So I wanted to actually share my screen and show you. And then another part, hey, Megan, that I wanted to do was show you, like, I know, Sunshine, you make the lists already. You already have like your lists of people. And so I do that to keep track of the people that I become friends with and people that I connect with for the first time. And so then I can go back later on and just basically click on a list. I do it by month. So like I have a month. I started doing this, I think, in April. And so I have a month for April, May, June, July. And everybody that I've made friends with, I put into their own month or list, which would be, May 2017. And then I can go back periodically and just interact with their like just their posts. And so it keeps it really simple for staying current in their news feed. And I can just go through like, once every, week or every couple of weeks, and just, maintain a connection with them that way. So I will, I'll show you guys how I do that. So let me share my screen. Where are we? There we go. Okay, share screen. All right, so so the first thing that I do is like how I go about finding friends. So I'm in a couple of groups. My big one right now that I've really been liking is like yoga groups. I have a couple of different ones. One is Yoga Mamas, and I don't, if yoga is your thing, awesome. Like, but I don't necessarily recommend you join the ones I've joined because, we don't all want to be friending people from the same pool and all that kind of stuff. So let's see, where are my groups? So for example, so like I'll go into one of my yoga groups. I'll go into the Yoga Mamas, and I like that one a lot because I feel like my, kind of niche market is moms, as well as, people who are, athletic or wanting to be athletic, the fitness side of things. So I feel like I really connect with moms right now better than, people who don't have kids, just because that's such a big part of what I'm doing. So, so I'll go in and find my group, which is Yoga Mamas right here. And then over here, there's the list of members. And so I'll just go straight to the members page. Occasionally I'll go in and interact with posts, but not all the time. So I start scrolling through. And I know that all of these people are moms. And so that makes my connecting a lot easier. And so I go through, and what I'm looking for is I'm just looking at their Facebook picture profile. And I look for people who either, like, I'm really specific, and I learned this from Raina Odell. She talks about this. I was in a diamond training in March, and that group is still active. And so she's been like in that group giving a ton of really good information still to everybody. And I think my contact just like slid up under my eyelid. That's nice. Okay, there we go. So I go through and I look for people who either look like who I used to be, what I used to feel like, what I used to look like, or who I want to have on my team. And so basically I scroll through, I look at the Facebook, look at their pictures. And so I just kind of go through and just quickly start adding people. I don't necessarily go even look at their page right away. So let's see. Okay, maybe her. So you hover over the name, you click add friend, you're good. You move on. Maybe this girl here, add friend, go through. The people that I definitely don't, go in and friend request are like people who have, pictures that aren't them. So like this person, I wouldn't necessarily, it's just, I can't really see who they are. And so this just kind of like takes a little bit of the guesswork out. Probably this girl here. So and I can't. So you could, if you wanted to, go in Messenger and say, hey, like after you go to her page, if you want something to talk about, say, hey, like I was on your page, you look like a really positive person. I'd love to see that in my news feed, but I can't add you. Would you add me as a friend? I've done that before, but just for the sake of going quickly, I'm just not going to do that. This girl looks like she's a hiker, so I'm going to add her. So then, after I've, gone through and done that, I will, maybe this girl here. Oh, can't. Okay. So actually, another thing. So this girl here says wellness coach at Mummy's Fitness. I don't really know what that is, but since we're launching in the UK in the fall, anybody who talks about Mummy anything is more than likely in the UK. And so just, that's just something to keep in mind if for when we do expand to the UK, if you want to go in beforehand, which we do recommend. I know Tony's doing the training, or not Tony, Taryn in Team Icon is doing the training right now for the UK launch. And she was talking about this on day one of like anybody who's got like, mummy this, mummy that. So anyway, that's kind of an aside. So now I've gone through, I've added several people. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to go into my sent friends requests or friend requests sent. So I don't know if you know how to get there. You go to your page, you go to your friends, and then there's two. So like you can see people who have recently accepted your friend requests right here. And then you can also, or, people who friended you the other way. So then you can go in, and something I recommend if you've sent a lot of friend requests recently, it can kind of clutter up your, like Facebook starts to recognize if you request too many people at once, and they're like, this person, I don't know, might be trying to run a business or something through their personal page, which is like which is fine. But they just don't want you to go out and like spam everybody. They want you to actually know people and connect. So these are the people. I've got 5 people. These are the 5 people I just added. Periodically, I'll go through here and I will, if they haven't accepted my request in a week or sometimes even less, you go in here and you can cancel the request. So I'm not going to do that right now, but I could do that. to clean it up. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll have like 30 outstanding requests, and you just want to keep that to a minimum. So then I'll go back in and I'll go to their page and quickly just look through if there's anything. Obviously she's got a little girl. She likes 50 Shades of Grey, whatever. Okay. So then I'll compose a message. I'll be like, so I've already actually sent her one. Okay. So here I said, hey, I hope you don't mind. I sent you a friend request. We're both in, so she's from another group. We're both in the No Mommy's Perfect group. I'm always looking for mom friends to connect with. Your family is so beautiful. Hope you're having a great Saturday. So this is on Saturday. So she has not seen that. She hasn't accepted my friend request. I'm probably just going to go ahead and delete that. Just so it's not cluttering things up. So I'm going to cancel that. Okay, so somebody that I know I just added, so her. I'm going to go to her page, Kelly John Love, see what she's doing. She's up in the mountains. She doesn't have a lot of pictures of herself. Some people just share a lot of, I'm sure you've seen this. She has a nice quote, pretty pictures. Okay, so she may or may not be somebody that I would like to connect with really in the future. Who knows? I don't totally connect with everything on her page, but that's okay. I'm going to send her a message anyway. So I'm going to say something like, hey, I hope you don't mind I sent you a friend request. We're both in the Yoga Mamas group. This is kind of like my standard script. And of course, you're welcome to use it and tweak it however you want. So we're both in the Yoga Mamas group. And I'm always looking for like-minded moms to connect with. Moms. How long have you been doing yoga? Or I might say something like, how old are your kids? So it looks like she's got a picture here that looks like not her kids. Okay. Okay, so I'll probably say like, how long have you been doing yoga? Send that, and then I'm going to copy that because I'm short on time and I just want to connect with people so they don't think I'm just some random robot sending them a friend request and spamming them. So I copied that. Then I'm going to go back and I'm just going to copy and paste that to these other. I think she was from the other group I was in. Yeah, okay, so I already messaged her too. Okay, so this girl looks like she's a blogger. Okay, so anyway, so I'm just going to send that same message to her. Paste, send, done. Next.
Do you check real quick? Do you check to see where they live? I do that because I have a lot of people in the groups I've noticed, like in my PCOS groups, that live all over the world. And I don't necessarily want to discuss Beachbody with them if I know that it's absolutely not an option.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I will. Okay, yeah. So she's from Tel Aviv, Israel. So I probably actually won't send her a message. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I'm just kind of going through like this, to me, I try to streamline this because this is one of the things that I just like, for some reason, this is like a drag for me to do. So I need to just sit down and not spend a lot of time and energy thinking about it. And so I'll just kind of like zone out a little bit when I do this because I know I need to get it done, but it's one of the things it's for some reason, it's a challenge for me just to go in and do it. So I will, once I do start connecting with them though, I will look and see. And for that same reason, like, if they're, obviously in Tel Aviv, I'm probably not going to have a conversation with them about Beachbody. So, but yes, you can do that at any point during this kind of getting to know you phase. So, okay. So then, So I've sent 2 messages, one from another group. This person I'm actually going to cancel. And ideally I'll do like 10 to 15 friend requests a day. That has not been happening the last couple of days. But that's my goal, just because of, how quickly I want to grow my business and how many people I want to connect with. So after I finish that, then I go back to my friends page. Here we are. And that's when I use this recently added tab. So like you can kind of sort your friends in a way that Facebook wants you to sort them. So recently added, they don't give you a whole bunch of options, and they don't go back very far, but oh, my husband is home. I'm like, why are my dogs freaking out? So then I'll go back to these people that I've been talking to, or who at least have like requested me, or who I've, started a conversation with, that I've made friends with. And then I'll just kind of start, making connections with them and talking to them. And Sunshine, I know that you had said that you were kind of, you weren't sure how long to go between like when you first made friends with them to like maybe inviting them to an accountability group. And I do that. I mean, sometimes it's not a natural, like I make sure it feels natural. I don't just like my first message to them say, hey, I'm doing this group. Like we have a conversation, I get to know them a little bit, and then I say, hey, like whenever it's sort of convenient, because it's never 100% the most convenient thing to do. And so I just have to do it. Like, it's just one of those things you just kind of have to do. So, so like here, so this is actually a neighbor of one of mine who just found me. And she and I have talked a little bit. And so, we've been talking, she just got engaged. And so like, I might have maybe one more short conversation with her, and then I'd be like, hey, like, I don't know if this is something you're interested in, but I'm doing this accountability group this month. And I'd love to have you join me. Hi. How's it going? Say hi.
Hello.
So I try not to make it take more than, I don't know, maybe a week at the most, just because, you do want to get to know people, but you don't want to just have kind of all of these people hanging out in your, as friends who you want to connect with, but you just aren't. It's never 100% a fabulous time, unless they say, hey, I see what you're doing. What is that? In which case, of course, that's the easiest. But when you are initiating the conversation, you just kind of have to do it, as long as it doesn't feel completely awkward and off the, something not good. Hi.
I'm going to the fire department today.
Okay.
I got to wash my gear.
Okay. Okay.
So you're not off.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. So that's kind of like how I move through it. Let's see. Questions so far? Thoughts? Any ideas of, I don't know, questions about how this would work for you? No.
Okay. I think what you explained helped me out a lot already.
Good.
Sorry, I dropped the phone when I meant to pick it up. Is Megan talking?
Megan, are you talking?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought Megan was talking and I was talking over her. Okay. I have, the biggest thing, like, it was an epiphany the other day when you told me, Alana, and you said, you talk to these people about adding them to the accountability group, but have you just talked to them about Beachbody? And I hadn't. So that was like a huge thing. So that's one thing I've gone out and done. And I have like I've shortened the time from which I started add them and then actually start the conversation. And I actually got a couple of girls added to the accountability group by doing that. So
Good.
that was good. So
Great. Well, I can talk about that a little bit, Megan, because I know that, I had this conversation with Sunshine, but this is something that was kind of, it took me maybe 4 months to figure this out on my own. But to me, and I think this probably applies to a lot of people, but for some reason it's never really mentioned, is like inviting can mean more than just inviting people to an accountability group. So I remember this was like, I think February is when I figured it out, because we were in the middle of Team Cup. And I realized I'd been inviting people to all of these free groups, and it was going fine. And I had a lot of people in the groups, but I just wasn't getting anywhere with anybody. And it occurred to me that I could use the time that I spent inviting to actually invite people to learn about the product. And so what I mean by that is I will say to somebody, so like, it's easy. I feel like it's easier to talk to people about like signing up for Beachbody On Demand. And so that's kind of a good starting place, I think. So, if you're nervous to just kind of jump in and be like, hey, like, I really think you should try Shakeology, because I still am for whatever reason, like I believe it. I know we all believe in it, but it's hard to say to people, like, I think that you should spend $120 or $140 a month and drink this really amazing shake. No matter how much you believe in it, like, it's still hard to ask people, to do that, I guess. So something that I do is I kind of like, I lead into it. So I'll be like, what are your health and fitness goals? And then I start to talk to them about a workout, and we start to talk about Beachbody On Demand. And then I will say something like, hey, so, how do you feel about your nutrition? Like, what is your, what's your nutrition like right now? And we'll talk about that a little bit. And then I'll say, well, something that I always recommend to anybody who's doing a health and fitness routine is to drink Shakeology as well. I'd be happy to share a little bit of information about it with you. Are you familiar with it? And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, oh yeah, I've seen your posts. Or they'll say, no, I don't really know much about it. And then I'll go in and I'll start talking about it, and I'll send them. My favorite video to send is the Carl Deichler, like why Carl Deichler drinks Shakeology. And so I'll send that, and then I'll say, I'll share a story of mine about like why I like it, what it's done for me. I've been drinking it for 10 months now. It's done, wonders for my skin, my digestion, my cravings, except for today, because apparently I ate all of the Milky Ways. So it's an easy way to lead into it. But my point is that when you're spending the time inviting, and you're considering, doing your, one of your 4 vital behaviors of inviting, do invite people to learn about Shakeology and to learn about the workout programs. And if it's a kind of a person, like if it's somebody who's into CrossFit, there's the Performance line, there's the Boosts. I don't know if you guys know much about those, Megan. Do you know much about the Boosts or the Performance line yet? Okay. So,
I don't know anything about them, but I actually looked up the Performance Boosts for somebody the other day because I didn't know a thing about them.
Okay. Well, they're awesome. I drink Shakeology. Here we go. Shakeology. I drink Energize every day. I've been, I've tried the other ones. I've tried most of the other ones. I've tried Hydrate. There's like Recover. There's I think 5 or 6 of them. But if it's somebody who's like a marathoner, or so, like I'm talking to the mom of a friend of mine who I went to high school with, and she does half marathons. And so she and I have been talking about like PiYo and some of the performance line to kind of help her, get herself, I mean, she's obviously, my mom's age and running half marathons. And so she's like, I feel like I want to, you just learn about people. Like she just wants to get, kind of have a little more, she just, she wants to feel better while she's running. And so we've been talking about the performance line. So, there's a whole arsenal of products that can help people. And, it's our job to find out what people's needs are and then fill those needs and invite people to learn more about these different things. So that's a big, that's a part of inviting that, again, like it took me 4 months to figure that one out on my own. So hopefully.
Leave that alone!
What? Sunshine. You're not muted. I'm going to mute you. Okay.
Whoa, are you guys there?
Yes. Where are you? What happened? Hi. You were unmuted yelling, but that's okay. Anyway, so questions? No questions.
I mean, I don't really have any questions. Me and Sunshine were just talking about one of the girls who actually, she just signed up for the 2 weeks trial on Beachbody On Demand. She's one of my girls,
Mm-hmm.
and she's been posting a lot about it. And I guess, she has, she's trying to put a good foot forward, and she's getting, she's getting people to notice that I'm her coach or whatever. And that's great. But Sunshine was telling me too that she was like posting the prices. So now I'm going to have to go back and talk to her about that. But yeah. So, and she's not even technically, she hasn't even paid for like anything yet. So she's not even a coach or anything like that. She has great enthusiasm, and I would love her to be a coach underneath me because she's so enthusiastic.
Yeah.
But that too. And then like I have like, my sister has been watching me, and she's gotten people to be like, hey, you need to go talk to my sister. You want to work out at the gym, you should go talk to her because she's got a better idea than,
Yeah.
And so that's helped out. And so I'm getting people, and I'm building a foundation, so to speak. So I'm super excited. And I've been talking to people a lot about, Beachbody. I haven't been inviting people as much into, I mean, I have, but it hasn't been as much as talking about Beachbody or Shakeology to people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like on the opposite end. Like I talk more about Beachbody and Shakeology than I do actually coming into our accountability groups and stuff. They usually do that after I've tried to talk to them about it.
Yeah.
So.
And that's good. I mean, because we can always, it's always easier to start. I mean, so another thing I've heard is it's always easy to offer somebody, if something's not right for them, you can always say, well, we have this other option. It's much harder to be like, hey, do you want to join my accountability group? And then be like, oh, do you want to be a coach? It's so much easier to be like, oh, do you want to be a coach? No, it's not for me. Oh, okay. Well, here's Shakeology and Beachbody On Demand. And be like, oh, great. It's easier to step it down for people than it is to step it up. So I think the way you're going about it, you can always plug people into the accountability group once they sign up. And that's perfect. It's so much harder to, it's more of an uphill, it's more work. It's like you're pushing a boulder uphill to invite somebody to the accountability group and then go in and talk to them about workouts and then talk to them about Shakeology and then talk to them about coaching. So if you come in at coaching and then you say, oh, that's not right for you right now, that's great. We can work on your health and fitness and get you where you want to be. And then, and then offer them Shakeology. It's a much more organic kind of way to get people started on the right path. Okay, so if there's no more questions, the last thing I wanted to show you was how I make lists of people. So this is something that you can only do on the computer, and you can access them from your phone, from the mobile app, but I think it's called Feeds. But you can access them and interact with the lists, but you can't make lists and you can't add people to lists from your mobile phone. So you have to do all of the adding and creating from a computer. So the way that I do that is, again, I'll go back to my page, go to my friends. And this is, again, where recently added comes in. And I might have already added everybody. So so if you just hover over friends, you bring it down and it says add to another list. So currently they're on my friends list. These are all of, there's like Facebook makes lists for you based on, area, interests, all kinds of stuff. So I've got like people in my area where I used to live. So this person here, so right now I'm adding to July 2017 because that's the month we're in. So she's already in this. So if she wasn't, I would just click that. She would be in July 2017. Same thing here. I think she's already in. I did this already today. So yeah, she's already in. Okay. So all of these people are in July 2017. If it was August, so for example, if I just wanted to make this August instead of whatever, you go down to the bottom. Let me get rid of that. Sorry. You go down to the bottom and you click new list. And then you just make a list. You just type August 2017. You say, I want her to be in that group. And of course I don't. So I'm just going to go back and uncheck that one. So she's in July. Now I have August made for next month. And then once I have everybody added to the correct group, pretty frequently, usually I try and go and check in with my lists every 2 weeks at most. Sooner is better. So I'll do a couple, maybe one a day or something, depending on how many I have, or a couple every week. So the way that you access them is you go to your home, and they're over here on the left. You've got this explore area. Then you go to friends lists and you click that. And then here they all are at the top. Again, these are all of my pre-made lists from Facebook. And so then I'm going to go to July 2017. And this is going to be everybody who I have added to this July. So this Courtney girl, she's posted something about why water is good for you. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to connect with her and I'm going to be like, hey, I really liked your post. Would you be interested in joining my accountability group? In fact, I'm going to do that right now. Apparently we're about to get kicked off in 10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes, ladies. It's 8:47. Okay. So I'll do that later. But basically then you can go in, you can like all these people's pages. Be like, that's awesome. Hi. People, goals. Yeah. Okay. So this girl, whoever she is, wait a minute. She may already be a coach. I don't really know. She's looking like she might be. Or she might just be something. Anyway, I'll have to check her out. So that's how I access and use these friend lists. And, you can make them for anything you want. I've got one for, my customers so that I can just go back and check on their posts, see what they're up to on Facebook, let them know that I care about them, let them know that I'm supporting them because I see their posts. And it's a really easy way to kind of put people into lists, and then you can just go back and interact with a specific list and you're not distracted by everything else that's going on in your news feed, because that's something that I really struggle with. So does that all make sense? Any questions about that?
No.
Great. Okay. Another thing, if you guys have not been into Team Destination U today, I would go in and look for a post that Melissa did. I guess somebody posted on the wall. The wall, so in case you don't know what that is and you've heard that term, the wall is for when you reach 5-star diamond and above, you get added to a special Facebook group called The Wall. And it's basically this mastermind group of all of the really successful coaches. And so people post in there great stuff all the time. And so Melissa often will share things from The Wall. And so this is, I think I can probably just bring it up right here. But she talked to whoever it was, talked about, I love Jim Rohn. Okay. Oh, and I love that. Go watch this, by the way. This Jim Rohn, The Sower and the Seed. Oh, awesome. Okay, so she posted something about the Facebook algorithm. Here we go. Facebook algorithms 22 hours ago. This apparently is what Facebook is doing right now. They change their algorithms, I don't know how often, but pretty regularly, just to kind of make sure that everybody is, I don't know why they do it, but this is a good list of, like, all of this here will help your posts be seen more by people on Facebook. So, when you're trying to boost your likes and your comments and get more people to see it, this is how, and this is new to me. Apparently private messages are now part of the algorithm. I did not know that. If you interact with a bunch of people all at once, it's going to be, you're going to become more, I don't know, popular, I guess, on people's Facebook feeds. Bring community, apparently it says negative and hateful posts will not be shown as much, and Facebook will penalize you. That's awesome. Like, nobody wants to see that garbage. Anyway, go through, read that. That is really, really helpful. Something else here is post original content, like sharing other people's photos. If you go in and like edit a little bit, do something on it. So like if you wanted to share somebody else's transformation photo, you could go in and just like import it into Photofy or another free photo app, add your team name to the bottom, and that would make it your photo then. And so then it wouldn't be recognized by Facebook as a copy of somebody else's photo, that you're just like sharing somebody else's photo. So, make sure that you do that, because we share everybody else's transformation photos all the time. So just make sure that you've made it your own in some way, and it'll be seen more. So go and read that, because I thought that was very helpful. So that's all I got. Apparently Zoom is going to disconnect us here in a few minutes, but more questions, more stuff.
Nope, I'm good. I'm listening.
Okay. Awesome.
Nope, I'm good.
Good. Well, thanks for hopping on, guys. And let me know. I'll have to add this to the page tonight. And if you think of anything, just comment. I guess I'm going to start what am I going to do? I'll post it in the comments of this Zoom call. And then also, I guess like Melissa does, because this is the first one I've done, I'll just start a document in the files with the team calls, and I'll just put the YouTube link. Okay. Awesome. All right, guys, have a great night.